Alright, what's up, guys? Last week of the season. One of my more favorite tracks. Definitely enjoy driving here. Been a couple weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've driven the Ford, though, so. Just trying to jog my memory here real quick. I'm not even sure if I did a race with this car at Watkins Glen. Can't remember. Right now, might do my VIR setup. Oh man, I got a case of the yawns. It's either my Watkins Glen, because I want to try and run as little wing here as possible. Or at least experiment with it. Try. See, ride height on this is 2.2, 2.8. Maybe that was a while ago. I don't know if I want to use. Daytona's, that might work too. I'm gonna try see how this Watkins set gun does. Been a while since I've been in a GT3 car though, so. Just the pedals. I can tell I haven't been left foot braking in a while because it feels kind of awkward right now. Yeesh. This is ugly. It's a combination of I'm tired right now. I haven't driven this car for a while. That's about it. Oh yeah, and my left foot braking's a little rusty right now. I have to break through all that stuff. Start running some good laps here. Or at least drive to where I can start getting some information. Probably need to raise the ride height. felt the nose scrape 2 times now. Just scraped on braking going into that corner. Can hear it bottoming out there again. Little fast.
Back it down a little bit, bud.
Front end's just super bouncy right now. Way too bouncy. Gets on that curb and kind of just goes straight when it does. Ah, my brain doesn't know what to do. Thinks it's in a GT3 car and then it remembers it has to throttle blip. My whole body's so confused right now driving this car. Wants to right foot brake, throttle blip. Not left foot brake, throttle blip. Might be better off just to keep it in third through there. At least for now. If I get the latter part of that curve, I get through that corner a little bit better. I'll loose on braking there and we'll go up 2 clicks on the front brake bias. Oh boy. See over here and just swing around on it. It's probably just my fault. It's probably bad driving. I don't like how much that front end's bouncing around though. Or the fact that it's bottoming and out. Go up 2 more clicks on the front brake bias. Just got 1 more for good measure. So the wind's basically coming from right to left right now, so it really doesn't do anything for us on the straightaway. It's basically coming head on when we get on this little front stretch here. Head on about 4 miles an hour. I like how much it darts under braking. Really don't like how much that bounces. I have 2 more clicks on the brake bias. I haven't since the front tire's locking up yet, so. As long as the front tires aren't locking up and the rear end keeps squirting around on me. More I'll put front brake bias in it. Yeah, did second gear through there, wasn't too bad. I need to get a lot more warmed up right now. It's starting to get warmed up a little bit more. It felt a little bit better under braking. And then I just was stubborn there. I could have saved that. I didn't lift when I should have. Go up another click with the brake bias. See, even when I'm just slamming on the brakes, they're just not locking up the fronts. I mean, that's pretty good brakes right there. You want to be able to be nice and aggressive with the brakes, with, you know, having to feel that rear end wash around on you. Basically what it was feeling like it was doing before was the front springs are too soft and just making that front nose drop when you get on the brakes and causing that rear end to kind of get really light because all the weight goes to the front tires. But it also could have been brake bias too, so I think it's a combination of both.
37.85.
Because all the changing the brake bias will really do is delay that weight transfer, maybe minimize it a little bit, but you really want to be changing the springs or something like that. But I still haven't put enough laps or done any solid enough laps yet to really make any big adjustments, so I'm just going to focus on trying to run the best laps I can with this set. Honestly, usually when I'm messing up braking that bad, it's more or less because I'm just tired. It's not really concentrating as much as I should and being real sloppy with it. But adjusting that brake bias definitely did help a little bit. Just when I come off that curve, it just bounces, or compresses, and then just leaps. So I need to work on that. Bad exit. Part of me wants to push the clutch in for every upshift right now. Ooh, save this one will be a miracle. I should have downshifted a couple times. I probably could have kept that from hitting the wall. Alright, I'll do a couple more laps here now that I got a little bit better feel for it with some fresh tires. See what kind of time I can put down. I don't really want to make an adjustment yet. Still don't think I'm really warmed up enough. Figure it out after this run, probably. Gotta figure out how to make it stop bouncing like that, that's for sure. Be very interested to see what this new suspension model does. I really hope it gets rid of this bouncing that happens in this car. Pretty much every car, really. It's different degrees depending on what car you're in, but get it in the Porsche where that front end just bounces all over the place. And just had an actual driver of a GT3 Porsche comment last week in the forums about how the cars drive very similar, but the only main difference he really noticed was how much more the front end bounces in iRacing's version of the GT3 versus the real life. The real life doesn't bounce like that. Oh, that's why I like iRacing though. It's, in my opinion, the most realistic sim out there, and these guys are trying the hardest they can to fulfill the mission statement, even if it is going to take a long time. Wow. It's just undrivable through there. Absolutely undrivable. But that's what I'm going through right now is so typical of Atlanta. That's usually the part of the course I'm focusing on is the S's. And just getting the suspension to go through there with being able to, basically like a Baja truck. Make it be able to handle all that stuff. And you can just mob over the curbs and focus on your line. I mean, it's never really perfect, but you can usually get the car set up pretty nice for it to handle through there. And it is faster to go to the curb, so that's why I was trying to set a car up to go over them through the S's. Kept it in 5th gear there. Bit of a struggle. The car's got decent rotation in it right now. It's just, alright, I'm done. It's just when I come off that curb, just, I don't know, we gotta watch this in replay to actually see what's going on here, because it's undrivable. Right after I come off this curb, the car just gets freaking wicked on me. Like, watch, y'all. Might have actually took too much curb that time. I'm gonna raise the ride height though, so. Because if you look at what happens, there's like a little dip in the dirt, and I catch that, like right here. I launch off something in the dirt, and I come down the back side of the curb, so I kind of thinking gonna raise both the ride height and the spring rates. Because we got pretty soft springs in here. I might have too much high-speed rebound in here right now. Pretty much have the rears maxed out. Think I'm gonna leave the rear alone. Just remember these ride heights, 2.2, 2.852. Oh, there it is. I'm just looking for a piece of paper and a pen. I'm just gonna start writing all this stuff down so I don't have to rely on my not so good memory. 2.209 and 2.852. So we'll go up 1 click in the front. Apply. First, I'm gonna figure out what the difference is between these two. 6.5 or 0.65. So just wanted to see how close I was to low. I'm pretty close to minimum ride height. And I always run a pretty high ride height here, and it usually does well for me. Alright, so that's 2.5. So to be the same offset that we had before, this is gonna need to be like 3 point. Basically just make it 3.2. And then we'll have the same rake we had before, so I'll have similar. Honestly, I don't really like those dynamics though, so I'm gonna go down to 3.1, which is basically just means I'm should get these to be the right number. Alright, that should be good. So instead of, because I put more, first off, put more, say this is the normal rake of the car, I put more front spring into it. So I raised the front of the car up a little bit, because now you got stiffer springs in there, which cause more resistance, which, you know, just make the car sit a little bit higher, because it's pushing the car up a little bit more with the stiffer springs. And then to compensate for that, before I did that, I took the measurements of the ride height of the front and the rear. And then that way, when I raise the front, that will now change the dynamics of the car, because if you raise the front, you're putting more static weight on the rear, and the car is going to understeer a little bit more. So to compensate for that, you raise the whole car up. So that's what I did with adjusting the spring perches. But I went a little bit less on the rear, just to give me a little bit more understeer. So that's basically everything I just did right there. Basically raised the height of the car to give me a little bit more travel. Not hit bumps. Basically just act more like an off-road vehicle through the S's. It's the best way to put it. And then I just want to get that rear end a little bit lower than the raise it just a little bit less than I did the front, because a little bit more understeer back there. That rear end to snug up just a little bit. And a little bit stiffer front springs, that's more of an experimentation. I knew it was going to raise the height of the car, and I wanted to do that anyways. But I also wanted to see if a stiffer spring rate handled the curbs better in the front. And I kept the rear the same, because it's almost maxed out to its full spring rate. And the rear end, when I get on the power and stuff like that, feels really good and secure. So I want to leave that on for now. Way too much high-speed compression dampening in this right now. Car does feel a little bit more stable as far as the rear end is concerned. I don't really know how much better the suspension is doing as far as being able to handle the bumps yet. Oh yeah, that was another reason I did a stiffer front springs, to help out with that nasty little snap loose situation I was getting under braking. I kind of felt like the front end was diving too quick and causing the rear end to get all jacked up, light, and then kind of want to get loose on it. Closer. I'm still going to go a little bit more, 2 more clicks front brake bias. Not able to trail brake exactly like I'd like right yet. I felt a little bit better coming off that curb that time. It didn't bottom out for one once it came off the curb. Didn't seem to bounce up quite as high. But I was just going through there one time. I probably didn't hit that, like the one way you hit it where it makes you get really high up in there and then causes a big problem. So got through there a couple more times before I really know if I got better or not. Car feels so much better through that section though. That felt pretty good. Very good weather, weekend weather-wise too. Nice and cool, mostly cloudy. Great for grip. Still kind of gave up on me there. It's like it hits that curb and then just goes straight. Kind of does the same thing going over the last, over the curb in the last corner. Hit the curb and it just, I've never had a car really do it. It just gets on that curb and just goes dead straight. Like if I get the last part of that curb, it doesn't go straight. It'll actually hook it like every other car does, but I think it's just something in the suspension that hit it a certain way and just goes straight. Might be because this car actually rides a little bit lower than the GT2 version. Might actually be sliding on the under tray or something like that, because I'm still bottoming out there, so we'll save this, but I'm gonna raise the car some more because I think that might be what's happening. Is this car's just so much lower that I'm actually sliding on the under the the bottom of the car. I mean, the rear end's bottoming out there, which almost tells me. Things just all over the place. Looks like jello. Looks terrible. That's kind of normal for this track. Like the tire pressures. Okay, so let's save this. Alright, so now we are at 2535 and it's 3 points. So basically half an inch difference. I'm going as high as I can make this thing. Alright, so that means... Ooh, that doesn't... oh, no, I don't. Let's just get this up to like 3.28. Alright, that'll do. Got offset tire pressure. Do. But it looks like that works out beautifully for this track. It's just like Watkins Glen. It's primarily right-handers, which is where this set came from. Alright, so we got as much suspension as this car can give us. See how this does. After this, I'm going to start working on the dampers. I just want to see how much clearance this really gave us. See, rear end doing that is no bueno. That time I didn't nurse it, kind of just drove through like I'd like to, and I just did that horrible rear end snap loose thing on me. Part of that might come from not having any rear wing in it, but I think I should be able to tune that out with the damper changes and such. That is kind of infuriating how much I have to baby it through there right now, so start working on that. Save that because that felt fine as far as being higher. Now I just need to start working on why you draft so bad through that section. Alright, getting rid of like all this. Bring that down to 4. What I think might be happening is a high-speed rebound affects the car when you just hit bumps and stuff like that real quick. It's not the transitional phase. It does affect that too, but it's more just has to do with the hitting curbs quick. So if you slow down the rebound, you're slowing down the rate at which it comes back off from compression after it hits a bump, compresses, rebounds. You're slowing down that rebound. So if you slow that down and you keep hitting bumps, they call it jacking. So what basically happens is you hit a bump, the suspension compresses, it starts to release again. Okay, let's say it compresses that far, or this is the full compression. You hit a bump, it only goes halfway because your rebound stroke is slower. If you and then you hit another bump, that's what I meant when it gets halfway. So you hit a bump, it's coming back, it hits another bump, but it's only halfway. Comes up, comes down again, and then it hits another bump, but it's only halfway because these rebound strokes are slowing down. So if you speed, that's called jacking the front end down, because you basically hit a bump, the front end drops, you hit another bump, and the front end just keeps dropping. So I kind of think that's what's happening right now. So that's why I got rid of that. Low speed rebound dampening. I'll leave that alone because that's more. Actually, no. I'll take like 3 clicks out of that too. It takes Couple clicks out of that. I'm just basically gonna get the car a more neutral state as far as adjustments are concerned. Just give me room on either ends of the spectrums for those adjustments to adjust it. Take it off its extremes. I'm using the clutch to shift, and now I'm right foot braking. I'll figure it out here eventually. There we go. What did I want to do? I wanted to do something. Just experimenting with the high speed compression dampening, just see if I can, because I almost feel like the wheel's going up too quickly into the wheel well. So I want to kind of slow that down, the time it takes that to happen. Oh yeah, I remember what else I wanted to do. I'm gonna actually increase this 2 clicks. And this is more experimenting for braking, because my thought process here is when you brake, just like in a dragster, when you take off, you don't really want it to jack back. You kind of want the car to just squat. So you kind of want the car to do the same thing under braking. You want the car to squat. You don't want the car to just put all its weight on its front tires, because then your back tires aren't doing anything. So what I feel like is kind of happening now, and it happens when I get really aggressive on the brakes in a trail braking scenario, is I get too hard on the brakes, the front end keeps getting, going farther and farther down, and gets that rear end light, and then it gets it all unstable. So by increasing the rebound compression, you're slowing down the rate at which the spring releases from compression. So now we're slowing down. So basically, you can almost think of it like you're pulling down on the rear end of the car when it goes into braking, right? So it goes into braking. So instead of just wanting to just jack that up, you know, the rear end up right away, it's going to slow down the rate at which that spring compresses. So it's going to kind of pull that rear end down. So I'm going to go up 2 clicks on the front too, and that's all with the low speed compression dampening, because now in the front we're controlling the rate at which the springs compress. So again, we're slowing down this motion in the front, and then we're slowing down the upward motion in the rear. So hopefully we're just going to get that car to squat more under braking. That is my thought process. And of course, making those adjustments to the dampers will adjust. They affect 2 different directions of movement of weight transfer of the car. Basically, the forward to the rear, and then from left to right. So they are making they are having effects on the handling of the car as it goes in the corners as well, but it's not making the car any worse. It's probably actually making it a little more secure, if anything. I mean, basically all I've done is, even for the corners, it's basically stabilized the rear end. Should have made it a little bit more stable with the adjustments I made to those. See, that still got that stupid sideways right there under braking. Might just have to not drive on those curbs in this car. Might be one of the few cars you can't really drive on the curbs. Because I hit that one curb and it just feels like an uppercut. Teeth shattering. Maybe try a stiffer spring. I mean, I barely even get on that curve. So much drama. Unfortunate. I think I'm going to try stiffer springs here in the next go around. See if that maybe helps. Springs just might be too soft. It's wild how bad this car handles over that bump. Just game over as soon as you hit that thing. Alright, let's try stiffer springs. I'm actually going to go up 2 clicks in the front. Wait, what are the ride heights for? Let's see here, 2.740. 3.284, so we got a difference of roughly 5.4. Alright, spring. It's probably going to put us over the maximum ride height. Max out the rear springs. I didn't even see the rear go up. Oh, they went up like 3,000. See. So, basic same exact ride height. As we got stiffer springs now. Hopefully these work better with the bumps. A little bit more drivable through there. Definitely better than before. I'm tired. I just pushed the brake like as a clutch. Rewind that. You'll see me faux clutch brake on the upshift and lift, I think, on throttle as well. Two more clicks on the front brake bias. Coming up another click on the brake bias. think I'm gonna put more front spring in it. Maybe drop the rear end just a little bit. Try and help out with that stability under braking. Actually, you just lose so much time if you can't remember that curve. Really need this car to be able to remember that curve. It's usually not this big of a pain. Alright. See if this looks like more of a race car this time, instead of a block of jello. Guess I'm just taking too much of that curb. Bugs me watching that rear end bounce around like that. I think I gotta slow down the compression all the way around. I'm going up another 50 pounds in the front. Again, just really trying to get more stability under braking. Gonna lower the rear end just a little bit. Again, more stability under braking. And I'm just gonna increase compression up 2 clicks all around. Actually, I'm gonna go up 3 clicks in the back. So basically now I'm just trying to slow the whole suspension down. Just trying to slow down the whole thing compressing. I mean, we got stronger springs in there, so now they're not going to want to compress as fast. It's more resistance to compress. We have the dampeners in there also helping to slow down. Cause it just seems to me like, if we go back here, it just seems to me like the car's just, the suspension's just traveling too quickly, basically. And we're just, before you know it, you're out of suspension travel and you're hitting the bump stops, and that's when the car gets really weird. It just feels like it's giving way too easily under compression. Probably Rebound's a little too strong too, because watch the rear end hop right here. When it comes off this curb, watch how much that rear end hops when it comes off its full compression. Hop. See that hop right there? Actually, and this will help stabilize the rear end Go up 2 clicks, 2 clicks. I'm gonna go up 1 click with the low speed as well. So this will also help us, and we're just looking directly at the back of the car. This will also help us with stability on the rear end too, because when you increase the rebound dampening, you increase the rate at which the spring releases from compression. Well, when you roll into a corner, this spring is going to release from compression, so you're slowing down that rate. So you're slowing down the roll rate of the rear of the car, which, if you're loose, will cause it to be more stable, more predictable, more stable. So let's just hope this works. In theory, it should be the best it's been all day under braking. See if that theory holds true. So it gets through there nicely, full throttle. Still bouncing. It's better though. I might just have to give up on driving over that curb, even though I know it's faster, because it gives you a wider line into the next corner. That's what I'm talking about. Braking is so much better. And basically, making the braking better really just stems from slowing down the forward aft roll of the car and the side to side roll of the car, primarily in the rear. And basically that's what all of that came down to. There's a lot of different factors that came into play there. You know, stiffer front springs, dropping the rear of the car a little bit, messing with the compression dampers on the rear, or the rebound dampers on the rear, and the compression dampers on the front. Those all kind of came together, and messing with the brake bias to help me be more stable under braking. All those different things came into play. All played their part. Still not perfect though, you can't just be completely on autopilot, you still gotta drive the car a little bit. If I can just get it. Basically, I need it to handle better over all three of those curves. Other than that, I mean, that's probably just a little bit more tweaking on the braking. Go up one more click on the front brake bias. And just being able to get it to go over those curves is really the only problem with this set right now that I can see.
And get right back in that rhythm.
I mean, even if I don't get on that curve, it still bounces there. It's just frankly annoying. Yeah. I haven't really thought about trying to soften up the sway bars yet. Should have thought about that a lot sooner. Yeah, that on my 6th lap, on my best time. Now after I run this lap, adjust my sway bars. See if that helps with the bumps at all. Okay, making progress. Let's see what these. Pretty soft. Well, can only go one click, but I guess that's kind of a good thing, or not a good thing. Good thing in the sense that it's not going to be that drastic of a adjustment to the car. So as far as just corner handling, everything should be kind of similar. But basically, what I'm doing is basically disconnecting the relationship between the two tires. If you have a super stiff roll bar, basically when a car rolls over into a corner, say we're going into a left-hander and a car rolls to the right, it pushes down this tire, well, it'll also push down this tire. So it's really good on super smooth, flat surfaces because it really helps the inside tires keep traction. But bumpy tracks, what happens is a left tire hits or right tire hits a bump and it affects the left tire. So that's not ideal. So you want to kind of, you know, soften it up and find a balance to where it kind of helps push down that tire when going to corners, but it hits a bump, it's pliable enough. So basically, by making this as super soft as I can, I know I've just said basically like 5 times, but that's all right. But basically, this makes this more compliant over the bumps in theory. But it also does affect overall handling, but because I kind of did the same thing to both the front and the rear, it will just basically make the car a little less responsive overall. It should have the same cornering dynamics, just be a little bit more sluggish, just not as responsive as crisp feeling. Still slightly awkward braking there. It's definitely better than it was. I want to put this car on the wall right now. It feels great all around the track, except for the only spot I've been working on the whole time. Look how much more the rear compresses compared to the front. And the rear has stronger spring. You can just see how much farther the rear end goes down than the front end. Running out of ideas. Guess it makes sense. There's probably more weight over the rear than there is the front. I wonder how much more I can raise the rear. I'm just gonna see what this drives like. Oops. Alright. So, basically, I don't want the rear end to go down as much as the front end, so that's why I just did what I did. I'm just gonna see if it changes a little bit of the car's dynamics as it's going over bumps. A lot of experimenting right now. Which is usually what you got to do when you're in situations like this, because it's nothing like, nothing specifically that you can point to make it better. At least my knowledge isn't that good to where I can do that, so I kind of just got to start taking educated guesses at stuff, and slightly educated guesses at stuff. And hopefully you hit on something, and just make a note of it for next time. Get in a similar situation. I mean, everything I've done's helped out the problem, but it's still a problem. That's a problem. And in theory, having a higher rear end like this is definitely going to make the car a little bit more loose. But if it's like a miracle and makes it go through those bumps a lot smoother, then it's worth it if it's just a little bit more loose, but I can get through those bumps with a lot more confidence. Because that's a part of the track you really want to have a lot of confidence. You don't want to be tentative. Ah, jeez. Rear end snap loose on that. That's just from raising the rear end. Ooh, get loose on me through here. Ooh, yeah. That's a bit much on the old rear end raising. But what I could do to offset that is increase this rebound dampening a little bit more. And so that'll, like I was talking about earlier, that's just going to slow down the side-to-side roll of the rear of the car because I'm slowing down the rebound. So as the car rolls into one corner, one side's going to lift up, and that's going to slow down the lifting up of the car. So we'll still have the higher ride height, but hopefully through suspension, I can make it a little bit more drivable. No, guess not. Jeez.
Slow down.
That's wild how. Because I mean, it's only like, I think like a quarter of an inch higher, but it makes that big a difference. Yep, it's pretty much undrivable. Honestly, I don't even know if it really helps me at all through there. I actually felt like it helped me on that second part there, get through there a little bit better. See if I can actually get this around the track a couple times, if I can. See how it feels. I'm almost getting to the point where I'm thinking about throwing a wing at it, but I really don't want to do that. But if I can run faster lap time with more wing, shoot. Oh, it's so loose. Probably gonna go the other way with this adjustment. This is more of an experimental type thing. Because it's that bad kind of loose too. It's the kind of loose that just snaps on you. There's no real warning. It's usually in a pretty fast section. Because like I had to baby it through that section. The rear end does feel more stable coming over that last little part of that corner, but so far that's about the only spot it feels better. fast. When it gets to that second, I don't know. Feels a little bit better through that section, but it just feels so much more sketchier on the rest of the track. But I mean, like, the fact that I'm getting loose there is just not something I can put. It's not a setup I can put in the forum. That's for sure.
18.53.
That'll wreck a lot of people. Alright, we're going back on that change. Even though... See, now my dilemma is, do I want to go back on the change or do I want to add wing? I felt like it did help me. Actually, I raised that about 1/3 of an inch. It was at 3.2 before. So, let's bring this back down. It's like just one click lower than it was before, but I'm gonna leave it there. And take a little bit out of the rebound again, because I did put more in. Again, I'm not going to take out as much as I put in, though. Well... might as well just go full spring. See how that feels. Again, just kind of experimenting. This is more or less just see how it handles going over those bumps again. If it's any better or worse. Actually, after this, I might actually go back about a couple 100 pounds on the spring and see how that feels, just to get another perspective again. Oh. Let's hit that curve and just rejected me. I don't want anything to do with me. Hurt my feelings. I know this is a lot longer race prep video, but I guess I want to give you guys the experience of the struggle in all its glory. Sometimes everything doesn't work out, and you just gotta keep on plugging away as long as you got the time. That's how you learn. go, not a good lap. And closer to that 17-second mark. By no means is it ideal through there, it's just better. Still makes for you sit around and wait for it while the front end settles down. You can get back on the gas, but you do have to wait for it. Definitely picked up a more consistent, faster pace, so. Basically 2 laps back to back that are better than my previous best. So I just butchered that little spot, but you know what I'm saying. You can tell that the pace is better. Yeah, basically with this car, I guess I'm just gonna have to live to deal with just kissing the curb instead of full on running them over. Guess I just got spoiled by other cars, especially the Ford GT2. But I think I'm getting close to the setup I can share on the forums. I think I'll just put a little disclaimer if it's a little too loose for you, just add a couple clicks of rear wing or rear toe. Could actually tie the rear toe right now, but yeah, I'll do a little rear toe because I know I'm not running any rear toe. So basically right now, not running any rear toe. I gotta really stop saying basically. So here we're looking at the back of the 2 tires from the top view. So got no toe, so they're running nice and straight. What I'm gonna do is put some toe in, so it's gonna make them point in, and basically the tires want to go the direction they're rolling, so they kind of both want to push in, so it's kind of making the whole rear end stabilize. That's what we're gonna do here by adding some toe in. And it's just, you know, toe in. If you're looking down at your feet, your toes are in, your toes are out. Same thing for the tires. So this will kind of just, you know, it's going to give us more mechanical stability in the rear end. It could cause an understeering problem if you're already suffering from lack of ability of the car to turn. So it can go the other way, you know, you can loosen it up. That's usually like a last ditch option there, because I mean, if the car's tight, I want to fix it with the front of the car, not the rear of the car. If the car's loose, I want to fix it with the rear of the car, not the front of the car kind of deal. But if you have to, you can go to the under end of the car to try and help it out. And sometimes that's what you have to do because you need the car to work together better as a whole. Like with a lot of the damping changes that affect acceleration, deceleration, changing the damper on the rear is going to affect what the front and the rear kind of do. Alright, let's see what kind of car we got. Slightly more understeer through there. Just because that rear end doesn't want to rotate as much. It has a greater desire to stay behind us. Instead of speeding away, which will also help under braking. Might be the last little adjustment I need to make to really help that braking confidence. So it really does make a big difference when you have confidence in your braking. Especially in these GT3 cars. Where braking is such a big component of having a fast lap time in these type of cars. To me, these are almost more like prototypes than they are GT cars. That's much more stable through there now. They're braking. Yeah, kind of pushing the envelope there. Seeing what I could get away with. It really doesn't like to be on that curb under acceleration, unfortunately. That's another thing I like to ride if the car will do it, but not every car will, and this one doesn't seem to want to. Just little things here and there, if you can get away with on this track, you gain yourself like another half second. Yep, be much more aggressive with throwing the car into that corner now. If I would have tried to throw it in there, it would have just spun around on me. Oh, come on, 17-second lap. Oh, dang it, never mind. I forgot my best was actually an invalidated lap. Yeah, to kind of baby it when I went up over that curb. Because I knew if I would have floored it, it would have been lights out. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I'd probably do some more refinements on it, but at least we got something going here. Again, it doesn't go through here like I want, you know. But hopefully that kind of stuff will change with the new suspension model. Really curious to see. This might be one of the first tracks I tested out on, just to see if there's any difference in the bounciness. I guess. Hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a bit of a struggle, a bit drawn out, an hour and 45 minutes, but this is how it goes sometimes. And like I said, I mean, if this was my main car, this would definitely just be the beginning stages. I mean, if this is my main car, it seems like it has like 5 more hours worth of tuning it. But I'm probably being a little dramatic right now. Alright guys, yeah, till next time.